Hello, my name is Tim Erickson, and I'm here today with Simplo by Triplo to talk about a pretty basic module that with a very common use case, and that is the address field module. The address field module provides an opportunity to add very structured and organized addresses with validation checks for different address formats from around the world. Let's dive in and take a look. So I have a website set up here, a demo website. I've added the address field module and I have enabled it. I am going to create a custom content type called venue. One of the really powerful features of Backdrop is that it provides an opportunity to provide custom contents like this. So let's say we want to have a list of venues for weddings that we want to share with some of our friends. And we've got a title and a body field, and we want to add an address field. We might want to show these, if we want to show these addresses on a map, it's going to need to, we may need to keep the address in a structured format like we'd get from the address field. We could just put a text field for the address. It's going to be harder to do things like validate the proper format or again, add an item to a map unless the data is stored in a very structured and organized way. And that's what the address field module does for us. So we go ahead and type in the name of our field, then we select a field type and address. That's what's been added by the address field module. I'm going to go ahead and hit save. And I have some settings here that I can make, some defaults. I'm going to leave them kind of just the way they are to start with. Go ahead and hit save. And that's all we're going to do for this demo. Now I'm going to go over and hit add content, add venue. And you'll notice the first thing we see is there's an address field with kind of not showing anything yet. And it doesn't until we pick a country. And that's because one of the powers of the address field module is that it actually gives us the unique and correct or commonly accepted fields for addresses in countries from all around the world. So you'll notice as we picked, so basically Backdrop doesn't know which fields to show until you tell it which country you want to see the fields for, and then it will display the fields for that particular country. Let's try one more. Okay, but the downside to this is we'll notice as we refresh is that it doesn't show anything to start with. And sometimes this can be confusing. I'd rather have some fields show up here. So how do we handle that? We go back to our venue, and we're going to go to edit that address field, the settings for this. And what we can do is give it a default country. So let's say our default country is Canada. I'm going to go ahead and hit save. And now the big advantage is I go to add a venue, and there is an address field with actual fields showing up as defined by our default, which is Canada. And then users can switch that to other countries. So anyways, we can make sure something shows up by default by setting a default option. So another choice we have is we can get rid of that address field. What if all your venues are in the United States? This just seems a little extra and redundant, right? So let's go to, again, our venue, manage fields. And what we're going to do is just pick the United States as the only available country. And then we can also say hide country field when only one is available. So if we've only picked one country, we're probably also going to have to change the default. We can't have the default to be Canada if the only country is the United States. So let's go ahead and pick those things. Now we go back over to our venue, and there it is. We have an address field specifically set up for the US, and it doesn't show the country option because we don't really need that. So let's just take a quick look at some of the other options that are provided by the address field menu. We'll see, first of all, we can require this field as any other. We can limit our choice to multiple. So we could say, if we hold down the control, or I forget what this would be on a Mac, if we hold down that select button, we can pick a handful of countries that we want listed in our menu. Add venue, and here now we're going to have the country back, but we've only got a short list of countries that you can pick between. Common use case might be venues in the United or in the North America, so we'd only need to list U.S., Canada, and Mexico. Or we could the same thing in Europe. We could choose a list of European countries that are available, but not other regions of the world. Well, a bunch of other choices, things like we can add, right when we were just looking at it, we could only add the address information. We could, let's say we also want to show a company. If we have venues, we might want to include the name of the company in the venue or in the address, or we might just keep that separate from the address. Either way, here's our choice to show that as part of the address field. Or if we had names, we wanted a first and last name or just a full name on the address, we could do that. This would be really handy then if we wanted to print out a list of addresses with that information attached. There's another option we have here to make all fields optional. This is obviously if you don't need the entire address, you can just have people fill in what they're comfortable with. But if you uncheck that, then it's going to require that the user fill in fields that are required for say mailing them something. Just another comment about this is that again, one of the advantages of this field is that it will do things like verify that you put an actual zip code into a zip code field, or that you will add a city into a city field. It has that kind of validation as well. So anyways, that's the address field module. This module oftentimes is required for other features. Things like certain mapping tools require that you use the address field module. So that's a situation where you might run into this. So thank you very much. We'll see you in the next video.